So, Bob, as you are aware, I've been talking with coaches,
Yeah.
consultants, and leaders about their work in the world, this generative perspective and what it enables to happen that you might not see elsewhere, and why it matters, and how it's a stabilizing force in a world that has so much change moving through it. And one of the stories I heard was from Sin, who was um, a leader in a corporate setting at a really big company. And she told me the story of before she joined a training with the Institute for Generative Leadership, her perspective was she looked around her office and she said, I am surrounded by a-holes. And the people that were nominal leaders in that organization, she found herself waiting for them to lead, and she was grumpy about it.
Yep.
And that caused a stirring within her, an agitation within her, perhaps even a personal breakdown,
Hmm.
um, to go looking for something. And she didn't necessarily know what, but I think she showed up in the Foundations of Generative Leadership course with you for 2 days. And what she realized was that time with you and the generative leadership community fundamentally changed how she looked at her situation. And what she realized is, oh, the messes and the breakdowns and what she's seeing around her, if she sees it, that's something for her to be called forth into and to make some changes
True.
there. She said, oh, it's not about the other folks that I'm seeing and the leaders that I think that aren't doing their jobs. It's actually about me. And so she mentioned that centering herself
Huh.
was a stabilizing practice and force that she got with you and from the folks that are in this practice and in this conversation of looking at the world through a generative perspective.
Right.
Can you talk more about that? This idea of centering oneself?
Yeah, it's actually finding yourself.
Hmm.
Because if we look at our experience, this was true for me before I started to be a explorer and practitioner in this generative tradition and path. Um, Most of us have lived in a culture where when stuff happens, we have a reaction to it. Oh, this is good. This is bad. They're a-holes. I wish I was somewhere else. And so we we in that cultural drift, we have not learned to be self-aware. We have not learned that how we respond rather than react is a choice. That we actually have the capacity as a human being to intervene in any situation with something new, with a new conversation, with a new demand, with a new action, we actually are part of the situation. And when we see that, when we're surrounded by challenges, this is key for leadership, but life as well, we have this fundamental place, we call it being generative rather than a victim.
Hmm.
How can I be part of what needs to change? How can I be the source of initiating something new here? Then problems turn into opportunities for real.
Huh.
And instead of being tranquilized by the situation's too big, I can't handle it, or they're stopping me or whatever, we can always do something new. And so even if we don't know what it is, having that question kind of wakes us up. But the centering part of this finding this stability in a world of change, center is a distinction we learned that's not a concept. It's a state. It's a full physical, emotional, existential stance. And to be centered in our generative interpretation of it is a full body, full mind, full spirit move
Hmm.
connecting to my capacity to choose in the moment rather than be in reaction to the moment. That's basically the choice that every moment in life gives. Are you going to react and go automatic, or are you going to wake up and have a choice? And centering is the skill to do two things. One is to actually wake up to noticing if I'm centered or not, because mostly we don't. We're just on automatic most of the time. And so the first skill is to say, oh, am I operating from choice or reaction?
Hmm.
And we call operating from reaction, which could be fear, it could be anger, it could be resignation, it could be all kinds of anxiety. And we call that in this skill of centering being off center.
Hmm.
And then when we notice we're off center, saying, I'm not in choice here, I'm in reaction. I actually want to empower myself. I actually want to be able to do something here. And it's not just doing something out there in the world, which is certainly available, but it's also what am I going to do about my inner experience at the same time? How do I go from my fear or my anger to the calmness of confident choice, for example? And so this is not a concept. This is a full body experiential skill. Good leaders do this. Not many people do it.
Hmm.
Why one reason that leadership is a challenge and the really good ones seem to be rare. And so we learn to center ourselves to say, well, I've got this story going on, I got this emotion going on, I got this reaction going on, and you know, if I stay there, I can already see the trajectory this is going to do for me. Probably shut me down, probably have me withdraw, or probably have me do some, you know, something I'm going to regret. And then we say, that's off center. So I'm going to stop. And the first thing I'm going to deal with is my body. There is a physical experience of center, and I'm going to go to my emotions. I may need to let go of something. When we do the exercises around emotions as part of the centering practice, we find that there are physical states. If you're depressed, this is the body looks like this.
Hmm.
Almost impossible to be depressed in this body. And so the first place we have access to center is our body, starting with our breath.
Hmm.
A lot of times when a reaction, we stop breathing. So then we go to the emotions, and then we go to what's the story, because I don't want to be a victim of the automatic stories that roam around in my head.
Hmm.
I want to be the author of the stories that empower me, that connect me to what I really care about, that feed and nurture my care and commitment, and give me the courage to go into the world, even into the fire, by choice and not reaction. And that's a practice for the rest of our lives. It's not something we do a course and get a certificate and we forget it. It's like this is every moment. We're either centered or off-centered. And when we learn that, we empower ourselves to have choice in life. That's the beginning. And if you really want to learn center, come to one of our events and do it live, do the experience of it, and you'll begin to have it available to you. Like learning to ride a bike, right? At the beginning, you fall off, and then all of a sudden, boom, oh, I have a new move called center. Watch me. That's it.